the CCP is clearly not our friend. Let me repeat, the Chinese Communist Party is not our friend. It is well known that if you are a Chinese company, you must turn over all of your requested information to the CCP. Lawmakers from my state of Michigan have approved nearly $800 million in taxpayer dollars to incentivize the construction of the Goshen plant. Goshen, Inc. is a subsidiary company of Goshen High Tech, which is a state-owned company of the Chinese Communist Party. State lawmakers are using taxpayer dollars to pay the CCP to implant thousands of Chinese workers and billions worth of Chinese technology strategically close to an intelligence program and a military facility. Coincidence? I think not. In the past several years, the U.S. has found Chinese technology to be CCP tool used to spy on Americans, undermine our interest, and steal proprietary information from our intellectual leaders. Anyone who's looking can see that this is a very troubling pattern. So Ambassador Sella, FBI Director Chris Wray has warned that colleges and universities are prone to political warfare from China and targeted for intellectual property theft. Now, Ferris State University is just a few miles from the proposed Goshen site. Again, coincidence? Not much. Have you heard of any collaboration between Ferris State and the Goshen plant?
I have, Congresswoman McClain, thank you for the question. So the previous president of Ferris State began sort of intertwining with Goshen leaders and executives as they set the stage to make their way into Michigan. And apparently there was a soft agreement where they would house workers, PRC nationals, unvetted, and his regime changed, it came to a new one. So there was talk of that. And there was also conversations that are known that Goshen had concept conversations with the university to support various elements of building. I don't know if it ever came to pass, but again, I think that would just highlight another element of what has all the textbook markings of an influence operation.
I would agree. And I just want to make sure you said unvetted.
Yeah, so I would just say that if you look at the backdrop of the 2018-2019 National Intelligence Law of China, the 2015 National Security Law, the law requires PRC nationals, this is just the law, that they have to follow whether they're in China or around the world to surveil, collect, and report. So I just think that as it now stands, our apparatus, our preparedness is not commensurate with that threat. That's why I shared with some of your other colleagues, perhaps a more footed, more nimble approach would begin with passing a more modern version of the National Security Act of 1947 that engages the China threat.
Thank you. It's widely known that stakeholders and other supporters of the deal, so to speak, with the Goshen signed a non-disclosure. So sign non-disclosure agreements. This, in my opinion, is a huge red flag for our national security and intelligence agencies when it comes to dealing with a company with deep ties to the CCP. Why would elected and appointed officials sign a 5 to 10 year NDA regarding Goshen? Is that not a red flag? Seems a little weird to me.
It's a big red flag, and in February of 22, I'd mentioned to some of your other colleagues, national security intelligence agencies convened state and local elected officials on a bipartisan basis, some business leaders, to say, look, China's on the hunt. You better have your dukes up. Do not be duped by seemingly benign business deals, because if you do not follow directives of strict scrutiny, transparency, which NDAs are not, our national security is jeopardized.
What's the issue with being transparent?
Well, I think that by being transparent, much of has gone on that's now in the court filings that we mentioned with Goshen would be known in terms of elite capture, influence operations, what appears to be corruption and enrichment. books have never been open over the course of this deal. They ought to be, and they're really, I think, emanating from a retrenching of National Security Act of 1947 in modern sense would get us there.
Thank you. I'm just going to remind everyone again, this is going on under our noses within our state. And I'm gravely concerned. It's next to a military facility, and it's right next to Ferris State with NDAs, and everything is under the cloak of darkness. Very concerning for me and the people of the state of Michigan. Thank you. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.